Right, so this is our part one, just kind of showing the overview and impact of our project. So what we had wanted to start out doing is converting oil and gas sites to green space throughout Central Texas, creating evacuation system through a high-speed rail and a hovercraft system, and then keylining the more at-risk dams in Central Texas. So in this disaster scenario, we're kind of working with less than 10 hours and trying to evacuate around 15 million people. Um, and with our new evacuation routes, we can get about anywhere from like 14 to 15% of that total population evacuated from the threat zone with these new evacuation routes. And this is kind of breaking down our phasing plan of our systems. It's kind of going through from 2025 to 2100. It's going to be like a kind of semi 75-year plan of how we're going to do this. So in 2025, it's going to be difficult to get most of these systems up and running. So we're just going to try to focus on the high threat areas, kind of going from the coastal regions for the oil and gas systems, getting down our major hovercraft and rail systems to the main cities and population centers, and then keylining some of the major dams in the area, and then going towards our medium 2050, kind of implementing more of what we want to, and then finally getting to our 2100 would be our full plan. Ideally, we would have like 100% of oil and gas broken down to green space. We would be able to have our full evacuation set up for any natural disasters, including the worst case scenario, which would be the tidal flooding, which would overcome most of Texas. But we would be able to get about a little bit more than 2 million people out with our new system, and then also keylining all the at-risk dams and making it 100% safe for everybody in Central Texas. But that's the breakdown of that.
And then Alicia and Sarah.
Hi, so my name is Alicia Sharma and my partner is Sarah Elusive, and we are in task two. So our main objective in this task were to create a site that could not only serve as a leaping off place for all of South Central Texas, but also to create a place that could function as a self-sustaining small city, a place that would allow people to be trained to see what their new lives would look like. This is the stop that is halfway to utopia. This is the evacuation hub for Central Texas. With the help of the geodesign games, we discovered that the Colorado Bend State Park, located in Texas Hill Country, is the most suitable site for an evacuation hub. For our so starting off with our case study, our design was inspired by green roofs in existing infrastructure and green walls. Our agenda revolved around avoiding an urban sprawl. For our for our site suitability, we graded the locations based off a variety of variables such as organic sand that would allow us to design a butterfly habitat, roads and streets, and lastly, buildings for our commercial and job core. This allowed us to ensure that the location would make a viable location. To make a viable location for the evacuation hub of Central Texas. The phasing for our design included a plan for the butterfly habitat, wind power, jobs, housing, and transportation. We plan to have 25% done in 2035, 50% done in 2050, and 75% done in 2100.
Okay, so we started our design by providing several prototypes that can be done into our site. Our prototypes consisted of train on bridge so that during flood the train station can be safe using energy, green energy such as wind power firm, also flood controlling houses and butterfly habitats, with the train transit in the middle, followed by campus and job corps, residential housing, office buildings, and butterfly habitat. it is the perfect place in case of word energy.
And then Evan and Brian.
So this is our site for the final destination for relocation. We chose this site. It's about 18 miles southeast of Amarillo, Texas, in Armstrong County. We chose this site due to the fact that it is A, at a very high elevation compared to most of the state of Texas, B, under very, very little threat from any type of storms, and then C, because it is close to a river, but also out of its floodplain so that nothing can worry about destroying this community that we're building.
So when designing our city, Jordan, can you go back to the last slide? We were kind of curious with the ring design, the one concentric ring, but we decided to break it down into smaller rings and have within each ring almost like a different native park space within each one. We also wanted to retain the farmland that's around in the area, so this is able to provide food for a city. We also designed this to be completely free of car travel on the surface. The ring is designed to be like completely walkable or bikeable, and if anything's too far away, there's a hyperloop system that can get you from each node or within the city. And this is a view from what it would look like if you were staying in like a high-rise apartment in the area. The strip of the city, the ring is just 1,000 feet, so you can walk from your house or to your apartment into the park at any time. The section above shows like the transition we have from farmland to like a forest buffer, park space, your housing, jobs, back into the park space inside. With the mass transit system underneath all of this. That's about it.